And it's a good Friday morning. Welcome to the Daybreak Show. I am the Sultan. Let's get started. But first, coffee. The Mexican Chiapas. Nice. Very, very nice. It's a rainy Friday morning in the Philadelphia area, and not as cold as it was. Shoulder a little bit sore today from working out yesterday. You recover a little bit slower from things. I do like that soreness, you know, that muscular soreness after a good workout. Where you're almost like limping out of the gym from doing your leg exercises. What I don't like is joint pain and connective tissue pain. That could be a red flag. That could be a warning sign that you're overdoing it, which means I don't do as much free weight stuff as I did when I was younger. And as much as I love doing squats, I might have to decrease the weight because I don't like my spine being compressed. Although I know that's the way to massive, I shouldn't say massive legs, but nice muscular, great looking legs, ass, just bottom half of your body just looking fantastic. And I never felt that I could get the same from leg presses. So one thing I've discovered as I've gotten older, it's not about how much weight I'm putting on the bar. It's about form. And a lot of you guys that are in the gym a lot can attest to that. It's not about weight anymore. And I just feel a little something in the shoulder. I don't know what it is. I just don't know what it is. And I don't know if it was from doing the chin-ups, pull-ups, which right now I'm doing assisted on the assisted pull-up machine and working my way up to my own body weight. But we'll get into that later when I start doing some workout videos. We'll see how that is. There is a gym near me that will let me use their gym to do videos in. They don't have some big corporate policy kind of thing where you can't have video cameras. And the agreement is that I'm there very early in the morning. So I may do that in addition to the Daybreak Show. But let's get started. For those of you that wondered why I have usually like a handkerchief or coaster or something that I put my coffee on after I stir it. This is a metal table, probably about 100 years old. It's literally made of metal. It has two sides that fold up. It's nice. It's green. It's old, and I really like it. But I don't want to keep putting the cup down on the metal table. For one, it makes noise. Number two, the table is ice cold. It's cold. And it will make my coffee cold. And you know, as this one subscriber sent me this coffee cup, make coffee hot again. And on the other side, I showed you this before, it says the Daybreak Show. So I put it down on this handkerchief, neckerchief, bandana kind of thing. Some people have sent me coasters from their favorite bar, and I'll do that. I mean, if you have I don't want just a beer coaster. If the coaster is printed up for a certain bar or casino or restaurant, I'd like that. That'd be kind of a cool thing. But this, you're going to laugh when you see this. I got this. Do you remember the movie Wild Hogs with Tim, the comedian Tim, the guy that did Home Improvement? Funny guy. And he did a movie called Wild Hogs. And this was a promotional item. It says Wild Hogs on it. And I just get a kick out of it. It just, you know, it reminds me of the movie. It's, you know, 4 old guys. It was like, was it like John Travolta? It's like 4 guys on motorcycles taking a trip or something like that. It was pretty funny. So this was a promotional item, but I use this just to keep the coffee hot, number 1, and 2, to keep it from banging on the table. Just, and I know it just kept you awake. You were wondering about that. But that's what I use. As well as the chopsticks. Bumped into someone last week. I forgot to tell you this. There was a woman who I said at one time in my life, there was a woman that when I first looked at her, I met her, I said, that is the most beautiful woman I've ever seen in my entire life. And I really did think that. I honestly was smitten by her. And I saw her last week. And she was beautiful. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Again, this is another one where people have said to me, you think that's the most beautiful woman you've ever seen? And I used to say, yeah, I do. But I saw her yesterday. Not yesterday, last week. And I thought maybe she might have been pregnant. But she wasn't. And a little bit chunkier than what she was. And I thought of the Garth Brooks song, Thank God for Unanswered Prayers. Still like her, enjoy her company very much. Didn't see her for a while. Came to the conclusion that I have to really want, even at my age, and this might be helpful for you, be careful of where you throw an anchor down, because that will change. The tides change, so where you are in life is going to change. Which leads me to believe, or I've come to this observation. Women, it's not about weight. It's not about weight at all, because I still view her as very beautiful. Women do put on weight different than men. Even at my heaviest, I still had the weight distributed more proportionately. Whereas when women put on weight, it really shows up in their midsection and their hips. That's what I've noticed with women. With guys, it shows up more in their belly. They end up getting thick in the belly, getting bigger. I know people who have a thin waist but a big belly, and that belly just kind of hangs over, because you know that area where your belt is usually a smaller measurement than your belly. But men and women definitely carry their weight different as they get older and as they put on weight or as they lose weight. For me, one of the first places I lose weight is in my face. I have a completely different look. And then my body gets trimmer. Women tend to put on weight in their hips. If they're busty women, they will get bustier and a little bit thicker around the midsection. I just found it interesting and not judgmental in any way, because like I said, I still view her as very beautiful, but just making that observation. Yeah. You go out dancing And the only thing that packs the dance floor is anything Motown or Michael Jackson. That's what I've noticed with the places that I have gone to. One guy comments, well, maybe in your part of the country, maybe country music fills the dance floors, and where he lives, I don't know. One of my female followers says Rihanna. Yeah, Rihanna does fill up dance floors. That's a fact. Who else? I remember there was a time when any kind of line dance would fill up dance floors. That was always interesting. I would have gotten away with it if it wasn't for you pesky kids and that dog. Scooby-Doo. Say out loud with me right now, I can't lose, I only win. Say it. Say it with me, okay, on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. I can't lose, I only win. That might pump you up. You might feel weird for saying that. Walk around with an attitude. It's not arrogance. It's not... There's nothing about that attitude that says I'm better than anyone else. So you're not being judgmental and arrogant. But to have the feeling that you can't lose, that you only win. What a great way to attack life. You have such an edge over other people that you get to choose. And it shows in your performance. What is your favorite cell phone company and why? I've had most of the cell phone companies in my lifetime. And my least favorite was the one that starts with an S. My most favorite is the one that starts with a V. As far as coverage is concerned, as I've traveled the United States, the one with the V seems to have flawless coverage. It's the most expensive, but you do get what you pay for. And I need coverage and upload and download speed. So it might end up being the V for me. There is a contagious, this is the most important thing I'm going to say all day. There is a contagious positive energy around people who are regularly making increasing amounts of money, regularly having sex, healthy sex life, and regularly exceeding their goals in their most excellent life. Key, contagious positive energy. The flip side of that is there's a contagious, swirling, sucking whirlpool of negativity and dread around the people who are not doing those things. Prove me wrong. You're blessed? I don't think blessed means what you think it means. And let's read something from the blog. I called this branding is a great business. I have a friend who was a mobile gas station owner. When mobile disappeared from the landscape up here in the northeast region of the United States, a company came in and reflagged all of the former mobile gas stations in a matter of hours. What was visibly a mobile station became the red and white one. I'm careful not to mention brand names if I can. It became the red and white brand. You know the one I'm talking about. They're everywhere now. I just lost my place. It became the red and white gas station and convenience store. The familiar blue mobile colors were replaced by the red and white ones within a day or two. That's what branding is. It's colors, shapes, sounds, words, positioning, all helping you become familiar with the brand. You could tell the brand of that gas station even from a half-mile away. If you're looking for a XYZ gas station, you know, even from a distance, there it is. Colors, shapes, sounds, positioning. Example, you're in the coffee aisle in the market. Let's just say you want Folgers. You don't even have to be able to read to find Folgers. Why? Because it's the red can. The red coffee can. Maxwell House is the blue one. Chock full of nuts is the yellow one. The green and white one is Starbucks. You could send an idiot in and say, get me, we're out of coffee, get me the red can. And he's going to come back with Folgers. You know that. It works. That's not an accident. That's purposeful. I deposited a check in my local bank. It had a certain name. The name changed. But they said my old checks are still good. In Philadelphia, we go to concerts and sports at the certain XYZ Center, formerly the ABC Center, formerly the LMNOP Center. So I wonder how soon that name is going to change. The sports arenas get different names. What occurred to me was this, that every time the branding involved, every time a company buys out another company, who benefits from that? Think about this. T-shirts, pens, signage, marketing pieces, letterheads, business cards, etc. Someone has to make them. Someone is making money just making signs and stuff with the logos of the new company. One company goes down in smoke with a buyout. Another company cashes in on it. The branding companies win big and have to rebrand, reflag, and establish trust with the constituents, customers, citizens, people in the area, all over again. Can you imagine having a sign company that has the contract to change all of the ABC companies to XYZ companies? What about the guy who is the supplier for pens or letterhead or business cards? The owners of branding, advertising specialties, and sign companies are all saying, recession? Lack of business? What's that? America. What a great country where you can make a living in branding people. Lesson for you? Get in the branding business. Lesson for you personally? Build your personal brand. Absolutely key. Absolutely key. And boil it down to what you could write on the back of a napkin. Last week, I made a video called Whatever Happened to My James Bond? And it was talking about the evolution of the James Bond character. Now, and this is, how timely is this? You're going to say, holy cow. And I noticed a change in the James Bond character. How he has been assaulted for many years. And that the newest James Bonds, I'll always watch every James Bond movie. Always. I said that last week. I may not watch future James Bond movies, because I notice the character getting weaker and weaker and weaker and changing, and I want my James Bond to be the guy that gets out of everything. I want him to be a man. I don't feel the need for him to change anything. He doesn't have to change anything. So yesterday, what did I read? There's a possibility, there are some activists saying that the next James Bond character, the next one's going to be Daniel Craig. I guess Bond 25 is going to be Daniel Craig, who's a pretty good actor. That'll be good. Let's get real. He's good. But the one after him, they're thinking of making him they're thinking of making the James Bond character transgender. And some people are saying the next James Bond should be transgender. What do you think of that? I'm not adding any commentary to that at all. What do you think of the next James Bond character being transgender? In other words, a woman who has become a man, or a man who has become a woman, as the new James Bond. I'd like to hear your opinion on that. It's controversial. And there are gatekeepers that will say that just even talking about it opens up doors for hate and so forth. But if we can't have dialogue, what can we have? It just made me think, how timely was my video in my blog article? That blog article was from 10 years ago, and I shared it via video last week. Look it up. It's called Whatever Happened to My James Bond. My James Bond. We've come a long way, baby, with our icons, haven't we? What are your thoughts about that? My job here is not to throw judgment, but to ask questions. I'm better at asking questions, posing questions and scenarios, than just spouting off opinions. That's my strength. But I'd like to know what you think about that. My interview with Jack Murphy live is going to be uploaded later today. You will like that. It'll be on this channel. I posted a link for it before, but I'm going to be posting the actual full conversation with Jack Murphy here today, later on. I think you're really going to like it. I pull some good information out of him. He tells a great story. And this is how I want you to listen to interviews. I want you to listen not to just opinions, but I want you to say, how can I apply this to my life? Or if it applies to my life, what can I do to improve my life as a result of this conversation, this interview? I call my interviews conversations. I never want to make it look like I'm interrogating anybody when I'm talking to them, because I want people to feel that they can say what they want, not have to hold back. That's key for a solid conversation. And I think that's important. I watched yesterday Joe Rogan's interview with conversation, hour-and-a-half long conversation with Dr. Andrew Weil, who is my favorite medical doctor of all time. If you haven't seen that, I will put a link for that down below. I find it fascinating. Dr. Weil changed my life with his book. Actually, 2 of his books. One was called 8 Weeks to Optimum Health, and the other one is called Healthy Aging. If you aren't into Dr. Andrew Weil, you should be. He asks questions. He's a wise man, and he talks about health in ways that no one else does. And with that, I'm going to say have a great day. Finish your coffee. And I'll talk to you tomorrow.